In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to use PhysX Lab because it is severely underdocumented. Let's get into it. So, as you can clearly notice, the UI is absolutely abysmal. Seems innovative for 2017, but that's out of... Let's get started on just a simple pillar. Use the My control, so hold Alt left click, Alt right click, and Alt middle to just, get a handle on your stuff. Select the box, and let's fracture it with these three things. We'll set it to Voronoi. How many pieces do we want to break? Let's say about 25. Then fracture. Well, just like that, it's easy. Now get out of here. Nah, I'm just messing with y'all. So now the cool part is this interior face noise. We can set this, and it's kind of like throwing on a little height map onto these little pieces so it doesn't look, like that and it turns craggy. So yeah, just like I said, so play around with it till you get something you find is pretty nice. Yeah, that looks really good. So now let's say we want to break down these pieces farther down. So Control A to select all, right click, create a fracture group from selected. We can call this layer 1 because it is layer 1. And let's break it down further. So this stuff is all well and dandy, but let's select our fracture group to be layer 1 so that it breaks everything inside layer 1. And how many sites do we want to break this down further into? 8 personally looks good. We can set the frequency back to whatever you cared. So, wow, nothing changed. Change the depth. So now if we press, F11 will get you into the edit mode, and F12 will get you into the live simulation mode. F1 is a really cool documentation window. F2 shows wireframe. F3 is just standard flat colors. So yeah, let's hop into F12 and set the gravity to 980, because if you're watching this, there's a solid chance that you're in Unreal. Wow, we just hit it with our hammer tool and it shattered. Then hit the chunks and they break again. That's not how it usually works, so let's flip over to our assets panel. Turn on our support depth to layer 1, because look, if you want a better thing or something's floating, you can change it to depth 2, but I think depth 1 should be fine. And yeah, if you notice, it doesn't topple over unless we hit it like that, and it does. So you can personally mess with the gravity as you need to. It's up to you. So yeah, 1925 feels most like Unreal. Alright, so great, we got all that set up. So turn on world overlap, because anything that it's touching will be considered support. So this will essentially say, hey, we're touching the floor. Go mess. The floor is our new support. Then we break it. Yeah, you can see how that works. And we will probably need a debris for optimization. So check debris in settings. So what setting is our debris? Our debris is the tiny chunks that should be called out. And what is our essential depth? So yeah, that works. And this max separation range, I don't know why, but it will cause your stuff to disappear. So, and I don't feel like messing with the variables, so change the lifetime range to whatever you're comfortable with. So 3 to 10 seconds looks pretty good to me. Yeah, you can see it break. Then within a few seconds, the chunk that it's went to should have disappeared. There we go. Now look at that. That looks pretty good. And now we probably want to spit it out so Unreal can read it. So export the asset, and we can just call it pillar basic. And let's do something a bit more advanced. So let's import our the starter content wall, I want to give it like a cube-based thing, but only for half of it. You're probably thinking with the default Apex stuff, hey, that's impossible. How would you even do that? Well, I'll show you. Select it, click this cutout mode, and you'll see that this plane is kind of weird, and this is how you slice stuff in half. And then you're supposed to upload a texture that it can slice by. So I have a fracture map, and yeah, this looks really good, right? I mean, that's not really the artistic thing I want, so let's disable it and click on each of these little bits and pieces to call it a whatever. And if it does keep screwing up with you, you can press tiling fracture so that it repeats itself and doesn't do any of that. Now let's set our thickness. So this is how deep do you want it to cut. I'm thinking about 68. So you can see that 68% of our mesh is going to get cut through. But because it's a thin mesh, we need to mess with it more, so yeah, that 48 looks pretty good. Then our back face noise. This sets up the plane that it'll be broken from. So watch. You see that we have all these cubes, pretty cool stuff. But if we switch between our depth, you'll see that this is kind of wavy. Now to blow it out of, yeah, so now you see this weird pattern. That's how the noise is going to look. So let's just set this back up to just to a normal 3, because I do want a little bit of vulnerability looking. So yeah, you can see that it's much more wavy, and that's what I like. Oof. Oh yeah. And yeah, that looks pretty good. So if we press F12 again and shatter it, wow, some pretty nice cubes. But I want the cubes to break down a bit further, right? So let's do additional behavior. So inside of our additional behavior, we want to apply a Voronoi so that it will break down, so each cube will break down further into 4 chunks. And the white part of our fracture map is the slice that it would do. So let's fracture. Alright, so it finished. You can see that, wow, now all of our cubes are shattered compared to everything. So let's get back to it. So if we break our stuff now, yeah, you can see that this all happened, and we can break down some of our cubes farther. But to be honest, I do not want this back face to collapse on itself, so let's go to assets and check the support for this chunk. And we can set our support depth to 2 so that our fracturing can, so that it's a basic, if we take out these 3 and this much, then these will surely fall. So world overlap, and let's try that. See how good that looks? Yeah. Then we break it, and yeah, that looks really good. Now let's turn on our debris, because we do not need layer 3's stuff to be permanently existing. Layer 2 should stay if it's not. Whatever, the debris. Disable this. And 3 or 2 is fine too. And if we press F12, you'll see that this, I'm breaking it down, and yeah, all of the debris gets taken away. But if we press this radius damage tool, this is essentially the same as shooting a projectile in Unreal at it. Let's use our scroll wheel to mess with the sizing, make sure that it's overlapping, then press this. And yeah, that looks pretty good. We can change the damage to however much we need, so 50 damage should be good. And wow, we can change it furthermore to be more projectile sized. Yeah, that's amazing. So let's export it again. So you can see that this stuff is very powerful. You just have to know how to use it. And if I said this before, I don't care. You can open up the documentation. So yeah, I'll get into Unreal and see how it works. Alright, I'm in Unreal Engine 4. A good thing that we have to do before is make sure Apex is enabled. If not, then it won't work. So drag in. And yeah, let's make sure that it all works. So fly around, explode the depth 1, preview everything, preview depth 2, and yeah, looks like a normal thing. Depth 1 gets broken, depth 2 also is good. Alright, let's drag in our wall then. Not sure if this is the right side, and our pillar as well. And upon shooting it, we see that nothing's happening. That's because we have to actually tell Apex, yo, we want to break it. So I'm inside the first person projectile and I added a sequence to everything. So yeah, first thing we're going to need is to cast to Destructible component. Move over to the other component, and as if we did successfully hit it, we can do radius damage of about 1, because if you saw our hammer tool inside PhysX Lab, our damage was 1. If we set it to like 50, then it'd crumble and go into debris immediately. We can set our radius to about 20, and our impulse strength of about 450. You know what, to be honest, let's just remove that. We can shoot our pillar and it destroys as normal. Pretty good looking. And yeah, we can shoot our wall